Hey guys, it's Tony with Wood Tramp Outdoors. I've got a couple emails that I wanted to address this morning. First one has to do with bush butter. So let me just read this to you real quick. Hey Tony, appreciate your magazine, love the videos. I've got a question for you about bush butter. What is the difference between bush butter and Wicked Wax? Good question. Hang tight, I'll be right back. Back, that came from Riley from Provost, Utah. And Riley, I appreciate the question. There is some similarities with bush butter and Wicked Wax, and then there's a wide schism of differences also. You know, I mean, bush butter, you've seen that. You know what? I'm going to have this bush butter conversation here, and I've got the old label here. So let me grab, bam, let me grab the new one. This is the new label right here. This is the old label right here. And if you've seen that label has been around since 2016, something like that. And then we had some suggestions to change the label, so we changed the label, but we didn't change the formula. Okay, so now here's the difference. All right. First of all, let me just say that I'm not here to bust out Wicked Wax. That's not ever been my goal. I don't do that. I don't even do that with products that other people send for us to look at. If they're terrible, I just let the company know they're terrible, and you never hear about it. Okay. So let's just talk about this Wicked Wax. Wicked Wax is a decent product. It really is. It can go on your knives or whatever. But what happens with Wicked Wax, and I've seen it, we've had it, you know, I've got this, I've used it. Wicked Wax does not have, first of all, the staying properties. The formula that it uses or they use is much different than what we use with bush butter. And one of the things that happens with Wicked Wax over time is that it begins to break up. And I don't know if you can see that with all this light glaring or not, but it's turned into almost, you know, cottage cheese porridge type of thing, you know. And what'll happen is that it'll not stay on a blade for real long, because you can't really buff it out. It doesn't dry up enough for it to buff out. It just stays kind of greasy. All right, and it's good for protecting your knives until you go to use them. All right, and if you put them on your sheaths, there's something in there that turns white, and I think it's probably coconut oil, but I'm not sure about that. But whenever you open up a tin of bush butter, that's what it looks like. Very smooth, very stable. This doesn't happen. Okay, so that's the main thing in looks. And I'm not saying, hey, you know, Wicked Wax would never work for you. When you don't have nothing, you use something. Okay, but you wanted to know what the difference was. Well, that's one of the differences. Our product is very, very stable. Now this one here, all pure disclosure, this one here is probably only about a month old, if that. We make this all the time. So I don't really want to use that as an example, because that wouldn't be fair. All right, this one here is a couple years old from Wicked Wax. But this one here, with this old label, this is probably at least 2 years old. That's when we stopped using this label. And the inside of the tin, you can see that it's not smooth like this, because this is what we do to use this, is we dig it out with our fingers, right? Just like that. and just kind of get it warmed up in there. I'll put it on this blade. And once you put bush butter on a blade, doesn't take very much either. That's another difference between this and Wicked Wax. It just takes a little bit of this. You want a film on there. You want a thin film, right? You can even put it on the scales. Now, what I'm going to do is just set this off for a second, okay? Now, so 2 years worth of stability. That's not too bad, but I'm going to show you something that many of you have never seen before, is this bag right here. Bush butter, when we first started making it, was put in this bag, and it came in 2 pads of butter, right? And I know this, see this bag here with the black on that? I did that on purpose to let everybody know that touches this stuff, do not sell that. That came from one of the original batches, and I wanted to keep it around, okay? So that means that this is 2025, this is about 9 years old. And it's still as solid as the day that it was made, okay? Now when you heat it up in your hands, it does get softer because that's the way it's designed to do, okay? But that's pretty old. It doesn't break down. You know, that's the main difference between our product and Wicked Wax. It doesn't break down over time, and once you buff it out, it stays on there. It provides a film on the knives. We got a lot of blacksmiths that buy this from us for that reason. A lot of blacksmiths buy the small tubes and include it with the price of a knife. Okay, so now this has been sitting, what, maybe 2-3 minutes? That's all it takes. The longer you let it sit, the better it is, to be honest with you. But look at that, yeah. Now that has a coating on there that it's gonna get harder and harder and harder as it flashes off, as it dries. You put it back in the sheath, and there you go. So again, I want to reiterate, you know, I'm not here to blast these folks. They make a product. A lot of people like the product, okay? You ask what the difference is. Our stuff doesn't break down for whatever reason. Theirs do. Ours will stay on a knife. This will not stay on a knife or anything you put on there. You put bush butter on leather, it doesn't turn white and foamy or green or whatever of the other colors that some of these, you know, come up with. But that's it right there. You know, I appreciate the question and appreciate you ordering from us. I saw that you are a customer. So till next time, you guys take care out there and be safe no matter what you're doing.